You can break these up like that. Also, dried mushrooms are a massive, trick.
What the hell is he doing with the mushrooms? I mean, why is he using his hands to rip and break them up? Now, many of Uncle Roger's nieces and nephews requested me to actually see this video of Jamie Oliver, and today we're going to be seeing his vegan shepherd's pie. So let's see how it turns out. And if you are new to the channel, my name is James Makinson. I have plenty of other recipes and videos on my channel, so check those out. And be sure to give this video a like and a share. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so you don't miss out on any future content. Now, let's get started.
We're gonna make the most delicious veggie shepherd's pie. This is in fact vegan, really, really good. But this is one of many recipes that I'm gonna be celebrating across the whole month. I've done a meal planner for you guys, which spans a whole month of budget-friendly recipes.
Oh, I've heard that before. I mean, it's like almost every single video Jamie has reviewed, he said this is going to be the most delicious recipe, blah, blah, blah. Like with the butter chicken, this is going to be the most delicious blah, blah, butter chicken, or the egg fried rice, or the pad thai.
This is going to be good on the planet, it's going to be good on your wallet, and it's going to be good in your tummy, right? It's going to be delicious. No compromise happening here. So let's get cooking.
Now, I do have to admit, this is a good thing that Jamie's trying to give you like budget-friendly meals and everything, because I mean, in today's world, food is not cheap. Now, if we're going to be saying that it's going to be the most delicious recipe and everything, and it feels good in your tummy, then that may be stretching it a bit too far. At least if we're going to take into consideration the last video that we reviewed of Jamie, which was the pad thai. And if you guys haven't seen that video with Jamie's pad thai, you should see it. Like, really, you should. If you want to laugh, you should see it.
Going to go in with some nice olive oil. About 2 tablespoons goes in, right? We'll put it onto a medium heat. I'm going to start the flavor story with a herb. To use a nice little pile of rosemary in this dish is a good trigger for big flavor. Roughly chop the rosemary. So the rosemary goes in. As you get a little bit of a fry on there, let's add some garlic.
Why is Jamie adding the rosemary first? You don't need to do that. You want to add the vegetables before you add the herbs. I mean, okay, rosemary is not a super delicate herb, so if you add it to the beginning of the cooking process, it's not a big deal, all right? Especially if you're just going to be sautéing everything together, it's not. But you can still brown the you-know-what out of it, and you can still burn it. The same thing goes for the garlic. You don't want to be burning the you-know-what out of it, and this is why Jamie has sliced it, and he didn't mince it. Because if he minced it, it would be brown in less than 30 seconds.
So we're now gonna add the first veggies. Just, standard mushrooms, button mushrooms, little kind of brown mushrooms, portobello mushrooms, whatever you can get your hand on. You can break these up like that. Also, dried mushrooms are a massive, trick if you're veggie vegan and you're craving that depth of flavor that you can easily access from meat.
What the hell is he doing with the mushrooms? I mean, why is he using his hands to rip and break them up? You want to respect the ingredients, use them right. Otherwise, they won't respect you, and then your food will taste like shit.
So mushrooms I put in first, season a little bit now to get that seasoning into the veggies. You can go quite heavy on the pepper.
Jamie is doing a good thing. Yeah, I am praising him with this. He is sautéing the mushrooms before he's adding, say, the other ingredients, the other onions or any other veggies, carrots that he's going to be adding. This is good. Why? Because mushrooms contain a lot of moisture, a lot of water, and you want to get rid of it. So in the beginning, if you have a lot of mushrooms, you may want to do them in batches. That way the water will evaporate, and then you can add the rest to the pan. Because otherwise, you're going to boil the mushrooms. And nobody likes boiled mushrooms. Well, maybe some people do, but I don't.
On the story of spices, that is about a tablespoon of ground coriander. Goes in, delicious. Okay, a little cheat, a little hack. It's not cheaper, actually, but it's a good conversation starter. In the supermarket, you have got frozen chopped veg.
Frozen chopped veg is not cheaper in the market than fresh. Oh, that is interesting. Well, I mean, of course, it depends on where you live. Because I remember being back in the US and frozen veg was pretty cheap in comparison to some vegetables. I mean, when you're paying like $2 or $3 for an onion, it can be cheaper going with frozen.
So convenience here, what we have here is celery, carrots, onions, right? So a whole bag goes in.
Onions, carrots, and celery, that's mirepoix. So if you're wondering, you know, mirepoix, what is that? It's the basic veg in French cuisine that we use to make a lot of different things, a lot of sauces, a lot of stews, a lot of things. And in Italy, it's a sofrito, so the same veg. And in Spain, I've said this many, many times, so I'm sure you're tired of hearing it, but in any case, it's not the same thing. We have a different type of sofrito here, a special type.
It's frozen, you can take a handful. This is a really brilliant product to have in your freezer. I'm gonna turn the heat up now. And I wanna let this fry off for about 5 minutes to concentrate the flavors, get them golden and get them caramelized. Most of the time, those frozen bags of chopped veg are more expensive than buying the raw stuff. But let's look at the upside. It's frozen, you can take a little bit or use the whole lot. It's already chopped for you. It's blended as a mix, which is kind of convenient, and there's no waste.
Now, one quick thing, anytime that you're adding any frozen veg to any pot, you want to sear what you need to sear off in the beginning or saute, like with the onions or with the mushrooms in this case, and then add the frozen veg. Why? Because when you add frozen ingredients to a hot pan, it drops the temperature, and then you're not going to be sautéing anymore. You're going to be boiling everything. So it's going to take a few minutes to get back up to temp.
So this has been frying for like 15 minutes, and you'll notice that the volume has gone down. Look at that. It already smells good. Okay, so when doing a beautiful ragu, bolognese, you know, mincemeat dish, you know, using wine or beer is quite common. There are eggs used in the fining process of red wine, okay? So have a look on the back of the label, you know, to make sure, is it vegan or not vegan?
Jamie is not entirely wrong about this. Egg whites are one of many different ingredients that are used to clear proteins in either, in this case, wine or in a consommé or in anything where you want to clear, say, your stock. Although egg whites are not always used, sometimes, like breweries, for example, and in even other dishes, you can use Irish moss, which is also very good at clearing proteins and other particulates in, say, your beer or in your stock or anything else.
So go in with a good glass. Cheers. So can you see how we've now gone back in seconds to a dry pan, okay? At this point, now I add our proteins in the form of lentils, and then I'll go in with tinned chickpeas.
Right, so both lentils and chickpeas, or garbanzos as well in the US, if you don't know what chickpeas are. They're good substitutes, especially if you want to make this vegan or if you want to add more vegetables, more protein and other different things to your diet. This is good. If you don't like a lot of gas, then maybe you want to stay away from both of these, because I guarantee you that if you have any gas issues, this isn't going to help.
So once we've done that, what we need is a little bit of stock. Now you can buy veggie stock, right? But I just want to give you like a little cheat on how you can make your own.
Wait a minute. Using a cheat for a stock, a veggie stock? Anytime Jamie starts saying like he has a cheat or a hack or a friend told him, yeah?
A little hack of a friend of mine that they swore by. And I tried it and I did it as a blind taste because I swore that it wouldn't work. And it did. Mango chutney, 1 teaspoon.
You have to take it with a grain of salt because this may be the beginning of the end of this recipe.
Just boil a kettle and use, this is porcini, but I really genuinely do use dried mushrooms. You just put a little handful like that in, right? That's all you need.
Right, so far with the porcini mushrooms, good. Porcinis give a lot of flavor to a dish, and actually when you make like croquetas de ceps or porcini mushrooms, they're delicious.
The flavor is phenomenal. Also, if you wanted to pep up some flavor, like you can cheat with a little bit of Marmite, just a little spoon like that goes in.
Marmite? In a veggie stock?
Just a little thimble of soy sauce. The other one is miso.
Soy and miso. He has so many different things going on here. I mean, is this a stock or is he turning this into like some weird form of tea?
So these are all really good tips. Then if you've got any herbs lying around, you know, you can put those in, right? But essentially we're making a cup of tea. It's an infusion. You know, if you're using carrots and you've got peel, you know, right, you can still, you know, be clever about it. This will taste phenomenal.
It's gonna taste phenomenal. Oh, that's subjective, eh?
So let's just move it about. It's good.
I don't think so.
There's one last ingredient. You could use tomato puree, you could use tinned tomatoes. I'm using just a little clutch, you know, 10 or 12 sun-dried tomatoes. Sunshine, optimism, hope, little pops of sweetness.
And they're also Jamie's brand of sun-dried tomatoes, as we can see on the label.
You know, as we add our stock now, this is essentially the equivalent of our mincemeat, our bolognese-esque type ragu. And the mushrooms can go in, by the way, not the herbs. The little masher, just gently crush, just to lose, you know, that blatant shape of the chickpea.
Why are we using the masher again? You don't need to be using the masher. Someone needs to take that masher away from him. Like, honestly, he overuses it. You don't need to be using it. You don't need to make this into puree. It's chickpeas. What are the chickpeas? What are the garbanzos going to do to you? Huh? They're going to bite.
Okay, so we're done. Turn it off. Normally at home, I would just fill this pan with mashed potato now. But I do want to make it a bit more fancy, just because, you know, we're making a cooking show.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is for TV, so maybe we do want to make it a little nicer. You know, just a bit, just a little bit.
It's a little bit wetter than you would think, but remember, it's going to carry on baking in the oven, and I do want it to kind of be blippy.
It's a bit more wet than you may think. No, it's pretty wet. And also the word blippy. I've never heard that word before, blippy. What does blippy mean?
So into that dish, I'm going to go on top with my mashed potato, just boiled, mashed. Instead of butter, nice extra virgin olive oil and salt and pepper, a little bit of nutmeg. It's really nice.
The mashed potatoes are so dry. And why are we crumbling the mashed potatoes with our hands? Golly, use some gloves for goodness sake. Not only that, but if they are hot, if you put on gloves, you don't burn yourself. And it keeps your hands clean, and it keeps the mashed potatoes from being contaminated.
Last but not least, before I pop it in the oven, I'm going to put a little oil over the top of the potatoes and purposefully use a different herb, thyme. If you put in, you know, 3 or 4 tablespoons of oil, like that, right? And get in there like this. And then squeeze it through. That will guarantee you flavour, but a nice crispy finish.
What is Jamie doing to the herbs? You don't need to make herb oil like this. I mean, this is a very basic way of doing it, but basic. You don't need to get your hands into it and squeeze the you know what out of the herbs and everything. If you want to, and you want to have a mess, and you want to make a mess and have oil all over your hands and have greasy hands, then do what you want.
In the oven it goes now for about half an hour, 40 minutes until golden, blipping and delicious. So in we go.
Blipping again.
So this beautiful veggie shepherd's pie has had 35 minutes. Oh, look at that. Absolutely beautiful. What I loved about this, can you see here? Look at that. So we've got that incredible gravy blipping away here.
Ah, blipping away, bubbling. So overall, Jamie did get some nice color on top of the shepherd's pie. This is good. You want a little bit of color on it, and you don't want to burn it. That's a no-no.
Cooking into the potatoes, giving you soggy, tasty potatoes. We've got the crispy potatoes on top, little gnarly, crispy bits here. Look at that, look, sticky bits. Like really, really nice. Like almost like the best bits. Yum.
And Jamie said the same thing about the lasagna.
Can you see the crispy bits at the side? Look at that. Stodgy, crispy. Some lovely seasonal greens that you can just toss with a little bit of olive oil. So let's go in for the kill.
Let's go in for the kill. He's already gone in for the kill. This is overkill.
You can see this is going to feed nicely like a big old group of people.
Unless if you have a lot of friends, you may not have so many friends after you feed them this.
Serve this with whatever lovely sort of steamed or boiled veggies you can get your hands on. I've just got a little bit of kale here, mustard and brown sauce. Really, really nice. Not that it's traditional, but a little bit of ketchup as well is definitely the done thing in our house. Enough yapping. Time to have a little taste.
Now guys, what do you think Jamie's going to say? Do you think he's going to come out and say, this is the best vegan shepherd's pie ever? Or do you think he's going to say, you know, it could use a bit of work. The mashed potatoes are maybe not seasoned enough, you know. The mix is maybe a little too salty. I put too much Marmite in there. You don't know? No, I don't think so. I think he'll say it tastes good.
Let's get in there. Yummy texture. First thing, the texture it is very similar to what you'd get in a typical meat sort of stew ragu. Experimenting, having fun, and being open-minded. So there you go.
This is true. With food, it is a good idea to be open-minded because you don't want to just say, no, you can't do anything. Otherwise, you don't have any progress. And a lot of the dishes that we have today, we wouldn't have had if everyone was so strict with the ingredients. But having said that, there are limits.
Happy cooking. That's delicious. It's really good.
Now, if we were to just look at the shepherd's pie, saying it's a vegan shepherd's pie, I have to admit, it doesn't look that bad. It doesn't. But we know what he put in it. Now, me personally, I would try this just to taste it, but I don't think it would be something that I would like that much. I would probably want something else. Now, guys, I'll leave the discussion up to you in the comments down below, but let me know if you would try this, if you would not try it, or if you would chuck it in the bin. Obviously, it wasn't one of the worst recipes. It's more subjective, so this is why I want to know your opinion on it. Until then, take care. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe, as it helps out the video quite a bit. And be sure to check out this next video coming up here, and I will see you guys again very soon. Until then, take care.